Hey guys, it's Bethany, your crafty BFF. Today I'm on with a tutorial. Yesterday in my project share, I shared this chunky dangle that I created for a challenge that I'm entering, and I also created this display box for the chunky dangle, and I thought it's such a good way to package the a chunky dangle. Why not do a tutorial? And then someone asked me to do one, so I said, well, good, then at least somebody wants the tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to make this box today, and let's go ahead and get started. I did make it out of 110-pound cardstock as the base, and then I will have the matting layers measurements for you as well. I did stitch on these matting layers on this box, but for the one for the tutorial, I'm not going to stitch on them just for the sake of the tutorial to make it easier to follow. But, you know, before you glue down your matting pieces, if you want to stitch them, you can always stitch them. So, let's get started. You're going to need a piece of 110-pound cardstock that is 7 by 9 inches. And on your 7 by 9 inch piece of cardstock, you're going to score. Okay, I clearly was not prepared for this tutorial because I can't find my score tool. Goodness gracious. We'll just use this for today. Okay. Let me put on airplane mode. There we go. And we're going to score at 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. So 1.5. Turn it to the right, 1.5. Turn it to the right again, 1.5. And one more time, 1.5. Now this is going to be our bottom box. We're going to fold and crease all of our score marks. Like so. And then we're going to do a little bit of cutting. On the long side, we're going to cut here on this score line, just up to that first score line. Like so. And then the same on this side. Then you're going to flip it around and cut the same little cuts. Just one cut on the score line right up to that crossing score line. I know it's hard to see on white paper, but I'm making this for a Christmas dangle, so I thought I'd do the white cardstock for this one. And what you want to do is add glue to your tabs and then construct your box like this. So I'm going to add glue here. Oh, hold on, actually, I'm going to use my hot glue because it's faster. For the sake of the tutorial, I'm adding my glue to my tab, and then I'm bringing this up and putting that together. Glue strings, like so. And then do the same thing to all 4 tabs. Bring them up to construct your 1.5 inch box. Like so. And that is the bottom box. Now, if you see in this box, I have a little 1/2 inch platform inside. See, it opens like this, and there is a 1/2 inch platform that I used to attach a jump ring to then be able to attach my lobster clasp to, and then it just hangs there and presents very nicely. So the next step is to do our little 1/2 inch platform, and for that you need a piece of 4 7/8 inches by 6 7/8 inches, and you're going to get your scoreboard back out, and we're going to score at a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, just turning it to the right, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. You can go ahead and fold and crease those. And if you're going to put a matting layer on here, now is the time to add it. So for my matting layer, I did not cut it correctly. Of course I didn't. Hold on. Let's cut our matting layer together. For our matting layer, we need it to be 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So let's get our trimmer out. And let's cut us a piece of 3 3/4 by, did I say 5 3/4? Is that what I said? Yes, 5 3/4. Okay, on my original one, I did stitch this matting layer. So if you want to stitch it, go ahead and stitch it before you glue it down. I'm just going to unclog my glue here. There we go. And now our matting layer should fit right inside our 1/2 inch scores. So go ahead and glue that down before you do any cutting or anything. We're going to glue this down. Just going to varnish that down so it sticks nicely. And then I'm going to get my crocodile, and I'm going to use the 1/8 inch side to punch 2 small holes about a 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, if you see here, there's about a 1/2 inch from the top of my ledge to where I punched those holes. So we're just going to try to center it the best we can. It might not be perfect, but we're going to try. Let me see here. Right there. And then about right here. Now I'm going to get one of my, what I refer to as my big butt jump rings. At Hobby Lobby, they do sell 10mm and 12mm jump rings. This is the 10mm and this is the 12mm. I'm going to use the 12mm for this project. I'm just going to open this up. I can only find my one pair of tweezers right now. So, oh no, here's my other pair. Good. So I'm going to insert my jump ring on one side and then put it through to the other side and then close it up. And now your dangle, you can hang your dangle from its lobster clasp right there on your little jump ring. I just like to hide the opening in the back and then just let that hang there. Okay, so that's what you should have. And then what we're going to do is cut here on the long side. We're going to cut up to that first score line on both sides. So there and there, and then flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. Snippy snip there and snippy snip there. And then you're going to form a little box. I'm just using my hot glue again because it's faster. Dropped it on the floor. Add that glue to my tab and then fold my tab. Oh, I added it to the wrong side. Okay, add it to the outside of the tab and then flip it under. And it makes like a little tray. Almost. But I'm calling it a platform because it raises the dangle up in the box and kind of holds it at a nice, it makes for a nice display inside of your box. Okay, so moment of truth here. Make sure this fits. And it does perfectly inside that box that we made from the 7x9" piece. So there's that. And then for your lid, you need another piece of 110-pound cardstock that is 7 inches by 9 inches. I'm going to get my scoreboard back out here and put that away now. Sorry, I'm dropping everything. And we're going to do the same score marks on the 7x9. So we're going to score at 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. Like so. And then fold and crease. Like so. And we're going to make, before we, no, actually, we'll make our cuts. So you're going to make the same cuts. You're going to cut on the long side right up to that crossing score mark on all 4 sides. But don't make your box yet. Go ahead and cut these tabs, but don't put your box together yet because we're not going to put it together the same way. What we are going to do is cut a window here in this box. So what I like to do is bend my that score mark over, that first 1.5 inch score mark over like this on my, and then place it on my scoreboard. And then we're going to score at 1/2 inch. So if you can see here, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. Now this might be easier for explaining sake. So line it up here on your scoreboard, and then at the 2-inch mark, don't score on your flap here, just bring it down to about 1/2 inch below this score line. And you're going to score here in the middle on that 1/2 inch, or on the 2-inch score mark here. I hope this makes sense. What you're doing is we're making a frame. So we're scoring 1/2 inch all the way around this piece to be able to cut out our frame. So then you put it over here, and again on that 2-inch score mark, don't score here on this edge piece. Just bring it down to right here where your first score line ends, and make sure you're on that 2-inch line and score over to about a half an inch from the second score line here. So you make a frame. I'm so sorry it's not easier to see, but here I am again at the 2-inch score mark, bringing this down and scoring to about a half an inch away from this score line so that we leave that half an inch frame all the way around. Okay. So let me bring this up close so you can see what I did here. So I did a score mark about that's a half an inch away from the outer score marks that we did, the 1.5-inch score marks that we did. We went in another half inch and scored all the way around. And now we're going to take our trimmer out and cut these score marks out so we have a nice window. Get my trimmer back out. And the easiest way I found to do this is to line your blade up and as close as you can get it to that score mark. And before you cut anything, just press it down and see if you're on that score mark. And see, I am right there on the score mark. So that means I can go ahead and make my first cut on that score line. You might have to play with it a little bit, but there you can see I cut that first score line. And then I flip it over, try to line it up, test it by pressing down to see if it pokes right there where I want it to poke. And that's that. I had to adjust that one, so now this one's good. And I'm just cutting on that score mark to where I run into that next score mark. Ooh, look, I cut that too far. But it'll be okay because we're going to cover it with a matting piece. So don't do as I do as I say. Only cut to that score mark. I'm pressing this down, making sure I'm on the score mark, and cutting down to the next score mark. So you see there. And then we just got to do this last side. Make sure I'm where I want to be. And I am on that score mark, so I'm cutting. And then if I don't cut all the way to the corners, then I just go in with my scissors and do a little snippy snip. Where I need to release that frame. And then you should have a piece that looks like this. Okay. Mine's not perfect, and that's okay. Like I said, we're going to do a matting piece for this frame anyways. Now, you only want to fold up one side of your tabs. These tabs are going to stay loose. You're not going to glue these tabs to the inside of your box like this. You're only doing one side, okay? One of the short sides. So adding my glue here to this tab, and I'm folding this in. And then the same to this side. And then that will be the bottom of your box. Your top tabs are going to stay loose. No, I lied. Actually, we're going to cut these tabs out completely. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I forgot about that part. We're just cutting those tabs out completely. So you should have it look like this. The two sides down at the bottom glued inside the box. And then you should have this free flap here. Now, to get that matting piece for your frame, you need a piece that is 4 inches by 6 inches. And we're going to do the same thing we did to the 110-pound cardstock, except we're doing it here, and it's going to be a little easier because you're just going to score at a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Skip down to don't score on the very edges. Okay, so I'm not starting my score mark right here. I'm coming down to this 1/2 inch score mark before I start pressing into the paper, and I'm gonna press down until I get to the 5.5 inch mark down here, if that makes sense. So I'm doing a 1/2 inch score. Let me fold that so you can see. 1/2 inch score, and then flip it to the side, and then again at a 1/2 inch. Don't score that first 1/2 inch. Start pressing down when you get to the 1/2 inch mark on this side of your scoreboard, and press down until you get to the 3.5 inch score mark here on this side, because we're making a frame again, right? So then turn it to the right, start at your 1/2 inch on this side, put your score tool here on this 1/2 inch, but don't start pressing until you get to this 1/2 inch, right? This 1/2 inch on the left side of your scoreboard, and then press down until you get to 5.5 inches to make our frame. And then one more time on the 4th side, don't score at that first 1/2 inch, come down to this 1/2 inch on the left side of your scoreboard, and then press down until you get to 3.5 inches. So it should look like this. You can see it better on the white, I'm sure. Okay, and then we're going to just use our trimmer again to cut this middle section out. So we're going to be even more careful not to cut all the way to our edge like we did here, like I did there. Don't do that. I'm going to do this on the white side so hopefully you can see it a little better than on the pattern paper side. I'm lining this up to where my blade comes down. I'm going to poke it with my blade and make sure I'm right on the score mark. And there I am, right on the score mark. So I'm going to come up to that next score line, only cut, leaving the 1/2 inch over here and a 1/2 inch over here. And we're going to line it up here. Make sure you're on the score mark and cut down to that next score line. Like that. I didn't cut all the way up to the edge, so I'm just going to snip it with my scissors. Line this up, press it down, make sure I'm on the score line, and I am. Show you again. I didn't get all the way up there, so I'm just going to snip it. And then we got one more side to cut out. This does get easier with practice, I promise. And I'm just snipping off these little corners that I didn't quite make it with my trimmer. And then you can sew around this frame if you want. I'm not going to for the sake of the tutorial. But before we add our matting piece, let's go ahead and add our acetate piece. So you need a piece of acetate that is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And for that, I'm just going to add my glue to the inside of my frame, inside the box. And then line up my acetate within that frame, like so. And just press that down. You can use your double-sided tape if you prefer. I just thought it'd be easier to do my glue for the tutorial. Of course, I'll have to clean it up because I got glue everywhere, but you know, so be it. Okay, now let's add our matting piece frame to the outside of our box. It should fit right on there. And then your other matting pieces, you need one for the back of your box. That's 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. Your side pieces are going to be 1 3/8 by 5 7/8. It keeps falling over on me. One 3/8 by 5 7/8. Right there and right here. And then we can glue our top flap to the top of our bottom box like this. So I'm just adding glue here to the inside flap. Lining that up. And there we go. And then you need two pieces that are 1 3/8 by 3 7/8. One 3/8 by 3 7/8 for the top and bottom of your box. And I need two more pieces that I did not cut that are 1 3/8. Actually, let's do 5 7/8 by 1 3/8. 1 3/8. Add our glue there and glue that on. And then do this side. Like so. And then if you want to do the inside of your box in here, the matting layers will be the same. So they'll be 1 3/8 inches wide by 5 7/8 inch tall, and then the short side will be 1 3/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches, right? So that's pretty easy. They're all going to be the same, and that is the tutorial. I have this little Christmas dangle, excuse me, that I created a couple weeks back. And I don't have a lobster clasp on it, but if I did, I would be able to hang it right in there. And so I'll do that, but that's how I'm going to package this dangle. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll get back to you. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day. Bye.